What generally acclaimed actor do you think is overrated? Jared Leto. He's the closest thing we have to a real-life Kirk Lazarus. I honestly feel like everything he does is for the express purpose of trying to win Oscars. And some of the stuff he does for role preparation is just so stupid. When he had to gain weight for Chapter 27, he did it by eating buckets of ice cream mixed with soy sauce and wound up giving himself gout for a movie that was critically panned and bombed at the box office. And the thing that pisses me off most about it is that, while I'm not a dietitian, I know enough about nutrition to know that adding the soy sauce was completely unnecessary. Gwyneth Paltrow! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. I think her personal life and business taint her and remove from her actual acting ability. She also seems to have done a lot of ordinary films. When she is in a quality film, she can be excellent. The talented Mr. Ripley or Royal Tenenbaums, for example. IDK if he's overrated or even considered acclaimed. But Chevy Chase is so great at playing the role of an because he doesn't even have to act. That's apparently just how he is according to people he's worked with. Yeah, Bill Murray, who plays both and Some Good Guys, hates Chevy Chase. He is said to be a self-centered butthole who only does it for awards and being a pampered actor. Mark Wahlberg. Sure, he's got muscles, but he's not tough. And whoever thought of making him a nerdy type of guy in Transformers and/or that Shyamalan movie? We're smoking something. Also, George Clooney. He's handsome. That's about it. American Dad roasted him best. Remember when Mark Wahlberg beat an Asian guy half to death and got away with it? They have a whole South Park episode making fun of George Clooney's smugness. It's the episode where everyone is smelling their own farts. If anyone says Ewan McGregor, you're going to hell. What if I say it 3 times in front of my Obi-Wan shrine? On the Kinsey scale, I'd say I'm just about entirely straight, but I would marry Ewan McGregor in a heartbeat. I'd be a good-ass spouse, too. Cleaning and cooking and helping him with script readings. I may not be straight. Hello there. Emma Watson. I dunno, she's just not that good at acting. Her performance in The Circle was meh. I agree. I'm a Harry Potter fan and I respect her as a person, with her activism and whatnot. But I don't think she's a very good actor. I mean, Beauty and the Beast was pretty bad and her straight face didn't help. She was the worst part of Little Women by far. She's fine, but next to people like Saoirse Ronan and Florence Pugh, she's just not in their league. Kit Harington gets a ton of praise for GOT, but he always seems like a lost puppy to me. We're supposed to believe that Jon Snow is this amazing military strategist, inspiring thousands of men to risk their lives for his cause. The greatest king who never was. But in all his scenes he just looks vaguely sad and confused no matter what's happening. Yeah, I was afraid to mention this one on Reddit. Kit Harington just doesn't have much range at all. He looks great on camera, but that's about it. Will Ferrell. Every movie where he's the lead character, it just feels like he's trying way too hard and I don't care for it. He is great in The Other Guys. That whole film is cast really well. If I shout louder, I'm funny, right? It's so convincing. IDK. Step Brothers was hilarious. Jennifer Lawrence. Actress but still applies. Edit. There ya go. I think she's great, but she was terrible as Mystique, which I think has kind of lessened her reputation given the visibility of the role. Rebecca Romijn nailed the part about 1,000 times better. Check out Winter's Bone. I believe her first major film. It's always interesting to see someone so young handle such a heavy role. I'm pretty sure that is what launched her. She's great in Silver Linings Playbook. Everyone who acts in a movie for teenagers produced by Netflix, especially when they're 10 years older than the character they play, they aren't generally actors that are acclaimed to begin with though, so doesn't really fit the question. Dunno why Netflix is being called out on this when the CW has been doing it for decades. Zooey Deschanel. I've always thought her acting is just kind of flat. And I get that to a certain extent, that's part of why people like her. But she always has zero intonation and sounds bored. I liked her before she was Zoe. She bought into herself too much. Of Jessie James and Elf, she's not too bad in those when she's not being her caricature. Peter Griffin voice, she insists upon herself. Her mom, on the other hand, was in Twin Peaks. Ben Affleck. Same miserable, self-serving slimeball in movies that he is in life. Which is why The Accountant is actually okay. Although it's J.K. Simmons and Cynthia Dare Robinson who really carry it. He kind of plays a parody version of that in Gone Girl. David Fincher does call him out for some unprofessionalness on the commentary. Keanu Reeves. Gunshot. He isn't a good actor though. Cool dude, but his acting just isn't good, kids. People think being in good movies makes him a good actor. That's who I came to say. He might be a great guy, but he is not a great actor. For the longest time, though, he sold his soul to the devil in exchange for an acting career. Producer. Hey, we need someone to star in a romantic role across from Sandra Bullock. Director. Is that guy from Bill and Ted doing anything? How many of these are actually acclaimed actors though? Very few. People are confusing generally acclaimed with popular. Rock. Dwayne Johnson is not a critically acclaimed actor. Jennifer Lawrence is. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not that good an actor. He plays the same guy in nearly all of his movies, and now he's in every Hollywood film that gets mediocre reviews. I am 80% less likely to watch a film if he appears in it just because I'm sick of seeing his face. Also the case with Kevin Hart. He's the contemporary answer to what Arnold and Stallone were in the 80s and 90s. Charming action star without a lot of range, but good for summer action films. Dave Bautista is typecast the same. Jason Statham. He hasn't been in anything good since Snatch. In pretty much every movie he's an ex-cop or spy trying to put his past behind him before he gets pulled into a life-threatening, hostage-style situation, usually involving a family member or former mentor. Yeah. He's out for retribution, we get it? He was really funny in Spy. Jesse Eisenberg. I still can't understand why someone chose him to play Lex Luthor. He's a little limited in his range. I think he's a good actor, but he seems to be the same character in most of his movies I've seen. I love Jesse Eisenberg and always have, but he is very limited in his roles because he's just that neurotic by nature. But as a DC fan, Lex Luthor, really? Not a good choice. People gush over Chris Pratt, but he's just simply a bad actor. I re-watched Zero Dark 30 last night and every line makes me cringe. He doesn't sound natural when he delivers lines. As Andy in Parks and Rec, he's great. He just shouldn't do drama. He was good as Star-Lord too. I think Chris Pratt is more suited to comedy. Essentially that's what the gut G movies are. He seems more natural as a character when the plot is, well, silly. Unpopular, I know, but Keanu Reeves. He seems like a cool and genuinely nice guy and all, but honestly he isn't that good of an actor. Emo. Timothée Chalamet. ISTG. He only has one facial expression he can make, and he isn't that cute. I'm sorry, I just don't understand this guy. I've seen so many people say how handsome he is, but I don't get the hype. He's got that heroin chic look which is so off-putting. He looks tired all the time, which apparently what teenage girls dig.